Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, you guys see it. You guys see that beautiful South Florida sun beaming down on your boy BT. I tell you, man, I've traveled as far as the east in the U.S. to as far as the west to the north. And something about that South Florida sun just really warms my heart, makes me happy. But listen, I wanted to take the time in this video to really just speak about the whole Errol Spence Jr. Ugas fight and how that pertains to Terence Crawford. Because, you know, I don't know what's going on in the boxing, but a lot of people are living in Candyland. A lot of people don't want to face reality, but the reality is, whether you like it or not, the truth, pun intended, the truth about the truth is that Errol Spence Jr. is blatantly ducking Terence Crawford. He don't want no smoke with Terence Crawford. And it's unfortunate because there was a period of time early in his career, like when Errol Spence Jr. was coming up, and even when he first won his world title for a little bit of time, there was a period of time where Errol Spence Jr. was what his name said he was. He was the truth. But somewhere along the way, he got a little bit of money, he got a little bit of status, he won a couple good fights, and all of a sudden, he became everything he hated. Because anybody that's done the history and knows the history about Errol Spence and the progression of his career, you would know that when Keith Thurman was unified champion and Errol was the contender and Errol was 15-0 and Errol was calling him out, Keith big-timed Errol Spence. He said, oh, fighting Errol Spence is not my immediate to-do list. And then Errol Spence Jr. had won the IBF belt in 2017 while Keith still was champion, and he was calling him out. And he was complaining about how when he had a belt, he still had to call out Keith Thurman, and he felt that it was wrong that he's a champion still having to call out another champion. And it's just so ironic because now Errol is doing to Terence Crawford what Keith did to him. What Keith did to him, Errol is doing to Terence Crawford. Now, he's fighting Ugas, right? And look, I'm not hating on the fight. It's a quality matchup. Ugas is champion. He's coming off a great win against Manny Pacquiao. He's one of boxing's true warriors. He's a very skilled boxer. I can't hate on the matchup. It's not, and I'm not hating on the matchup. But what I am hating on is what the matchup signifies, the principles that it's showing. And basically, what I'm seeing is that Errol Spence Jr. come hell or high water will not fight Terence Crawford, because when Terence Crawford wasn't a welterweight, he said come to welterweight and get a belt. So he beats Jeff Horn, he gets a belt, and then Errol still has the audacity to say, oh, well, you haven't done anything at welterweight. You know, you need to sign with Fox and PBC because I don't fight on ESPN at Top Rank. So now his contract is up, and you're fighting Ugas. And a lot of people are saying, well, BT, Brendan, you know, True School, you got to understand, you know, if Errol wins this fight, you know, they could fight for Undisputed. And my thing is this, look, Undisputed is cool, but this fight has been marinated for so long. It's been avoided for so long by Errol Spence that, excuse my language, I don't give a fuck about Undisputed. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter at this point. What matters is just seeing who's the best. Like, him getting the belt against Ugas isn't going to let us know who the best is. What will let us know who's the best if they just fight each other. And, you know, it's not even a foregone conclusion if he beats Ugas, which is not a guarantee, because Ugas can box, Ugas can counterpunch, Ugas could mess around and beat Errol Spence. But in the event that Errol Spence does beat Ugas, right, let's just assume he does, right? Even if he beats Ugas, who's to say he fights him? Who's to say he fights Ugas? Or Terence Crawford? Because Keith Thurman's fighting on a pay-per-view show on February 5th against Barrios. Who's to say if Keith Thurman wins that fight and has a decent showing, why wouldn't PBC try to make Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence on pay-per-view? That would be a big pay-per-view fight. If Keith can get a good win against Barrios, why wouldn't Al Heyman, PBC, and all parties involved try to make a pay-per-view fight between Errol Spence and Thurman? They're rivals. They're established names. They're both, you know, one's been unified champion, one is currently unified champion. It makes a lot of sense if Keith can look good against Barrios. There's that option. Then there's the alternative option. If Errol beats Ugas, then he can say, well, I already beat Danny Garcia in my last fight, which really to me is a glorified tune-up. I don't give him no credit for that. I give him very little credit for that win because Danny Garcia at welterweight at this point in his career, he has no hunger. He's mastered the art of looking good losing, all right? Nobody at welterweight nobody in any weight class at the championship level of boxing has mastered the art of looking good while losing more than Danny Garcia. He was a fantastic fighter at 140, extremely overrated at 147. So that was a glorified tune-up. But, you know, people look at it as a great fight, as a great win, whatever. So he can use the excuse that he's fought two big names back-to-back, and that now he wants a tune-up, or he wants a defense of the title. And the defense, the opponent is already in place pretty much, if you're paying attention, because Ugas was supposed to fight in the WBA tournament. They paid Emmanuel Styonnes the step-aside money to make this fight happen. Or to make, as they're making this fight happen, they're going to pay Styonnes the step-aside money. Styonnes will fight the winner. Styonnes will fight probably Butiev in the intermediate period of time. He'll fight Butiev. So let's just say Butiev or Styonnes win that fight, whoever it is. Spence could fight Styonnes or Butiev right after fighting Ugas, and he don't got to fight Crawford. So you're looking at either Thurman next, or if he wins, or Styonnes or Butiev. Okay? And these are all in-house fights. We know the PBC mantra. We know the PBC model. We know it's all about, we've heard Floyd Mayweather say it in the past, we're going to keep everything in-house. Why make another company great? You know, Terence Crawford might be signing a PBC. We don't know what he's going to do yet. He's mentioned that he's not going to be with Bob anymore because his top-rank contract's up and Bob couldn't secure in the big fights. But even if Terence Crawford signs a PBC, it's still not a foregone conclusion that'll get the fight. And I've said this many times. Because if signing a PBC and being with PBC was the end-all, be-all to getting a fight, why in the hell has Keith Thurman not gotten a fight with Errol Spence? Why hasn't, you know, a lot of fights happened at PBC, you know? It just doesn't make any sense. And then, you know, Crawford's fought guys on PBC before. Like, he fought Porter recently. He's fought Felix Diaz. So all that side of the street bullshit, that was all Errol Spence. Conjuring things up because he didn't want to fight Terence Crawford because he didn't believe in his heart of hearts that he could really beat him. Because if he thought he could beat him, the fight would have happened already. He doesn't think he could beat him. And if he thinks he can beat him, just forget the Ugas fight and go to Crawford. Like, you're wasting time, man. You're wasting time. And, you know, I like Errol Spence. Like, I don't enjoy, people think I hate Errol Spence. And I don't enjoy talking bad about Errol Spence. I was a huge Errol Spence fan at one point. Probably more than most of you guys. I've been following Errol Spence since he was like early in his career as a prospect. I remember back in the day when he fought Emmanuel Larte and got hurt in the fight. I remember when he was a young, up-and-coming kid who sparred Floyd at the Mayweather gym and gave him a black eye and all this stuff. You know, I like Errol Spence and I still have high hopes for him, but the last couple years have been rough. So I just don't think he's fighting Terence Crawford because there's too many options in the PBC stable, even if he beats Ugas. You know, like I said, he could beat Thurman can sell. Thurman's marketable. Thurman and Spence is an extremely marketable fight. I think he would do well on pay-per-view. Well enough for Al Heyman to want to put it on next if Thurman looks good in his next fight. So I have no reason to believe that Thurman and Spence won't be next if Thurman beats Barrios convincingly. And even if he doesn't beat Barrios convincingly, they still have they could have Errol Spence fighting the winner of the WBA tournament, Butiev or Styonnes. So, you know, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't think Errol Spence is fighting Terence Crawford next. Whether he signs a PBC, whether he beats Ugas, I think it's all irrelevant. But you guys can live in Candyland. I'm gonna see reality. I'm gonna see 6, 7 months, 9 months ahead of you guys, and I'll be right here to talk about Errol Spence. And listen, if Errol Spence actually goes ahead and starts behaving like a fighter again and wants to fight Terence Crawford and make the fight the fans really want to see, that would really be his legacy-defining fight, then, you know, I'll be here to give him his credit once that happens. But until then, I'm keeping that same energy. So I'm going to leave it at that. You guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. You know, you can tell a friend to tell a friend. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God bless.